10 seconds of silence except for that bird.
Well, I know. It was like it's made its home in the window.
Okay. Hi, guys.
Hello.
This is the
listeners.
Hello, nurse. Did you ever watch Animaniacs?
Yes.
Yeah. I used to love it. Okay. This is the Witches, Magic, Murder, and Mystery Podcast.
I am Kara.
I'm Megan. Hello. Olive's not with us today.
She's not.
It's weird.
Yeah,
I miss her.
I know. It feels really weird.
Okay. I have a very quick little murder story.
Oh,
today.
A little side piece murder.
I thought it was going to be a full episode.
Okay.
But there is surprisingly little information.
Oh.
But it's enough that I wanted to tell you.
Okay.
You specifically.
Me? Oh. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Is it something I did?
No.
Okay. And I don't know.
Remember that murder you committed?
Yeah.
It's that one.
Oh my God, Megan. You're telling me all my deets. Okay. Let's go.
We're airing all the dirty laundry here. Let's see. Do we have anything else to tell you guys?
I'm not a real murderer.
Yeah. This is all a joke. We're jokes.
Just kidding.
We're hilarious. Also, check the show notes for discount codes for the Hunt to Killer.
Hunt to Killer.
Yeah. If you've ever want to try out the Hunt to Killer boxes,
oh my gosh, they're so much
don't
fun.
want to invest all that, you can just try a discount code.
Yeah.
I highly recommend them. They're super fun.
Oh my gosh, we love playing them.
So even before they gave us these discount codes, I had already played several times and gotten subscriptions. So
yeah, it was very funny that it came when it did because we were both talking about it.
We had just discussed it. I know.
Yeah.
It is strange.
How much I love it.
Okay. In 1959.
My second birthday.
In a past life.
Yeah.
Malika de Fernandez met Peter Rain Bart.
Okay.
I don't know if any of that was pronounced right.
I
feel good about Fernandez.
Wait. Yeah.
And Peter.
Yeah. Wait until the people come for us.
Malika was an artist who loved to travel.
Okay.
And Peter worked for an airline. Within 2 hours of meeting, Peter had asked Malika to marry him.
Oh, wow.
And 4 days later, they were married.
Oh.
So let's stop right there.
Ooh.
What do you think about that?
Don't eat cake from a person you just met.
Have we learned nothing? They
This
clearly
was
didn't listen to
episodes
this
ago.
podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine.
What?
I don't know.
No.
I do remember that when I was in high school, the 4-H camp extension, the county extension agent.
You fell in love.
No. But she was married to a man. They'd been married for years and years and years. Were super happy. But they got married after a week.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I just remember that being like, I had no idea that those stories ever turned out well.
Wow.
So if you know a story like that turned out well,
We
where somebody
wanna
got
know.
married super quick, I think that'd be nice because you don't hear those stories very often. You hear the craziness like what I'm about to tell you.
My gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So the couple lived in a cottage in Cheshire, one of those, England, Cheshire, probably.
Yeah. The cat.
Kara just went, yep.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the marriage started having some pretty serious issues.
Oh, it did?
After a few months.
Really?
Yeah. Which maybe if you'd known each other longer than 4 days, you could have foreseen. But
maybe if you've seen them brush their teeth or something once, at least
important.
once. Or
knowing what a person looks like when they brush their teeth.
How they fix their sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's important.
Yeah.
Do they shower?
Right.
Regularly.
Right. Do they use the bathroom with the door open or closed?
Oh, my God. So after a few months, they're having some issues. Malika starts traveling some more, and Peter stays home.
Oh.
It wasn't unusual for her to be gone.
Right. Because they have different interests.
They're different people. They didn't know that in 4 days.
Right.
She got to use Peter's employee discount to fly all over the place.
I'll take it.
And with the state of their marriage, Peter just didn't accompany her.
Oh.
But apparently Peter wasn't staying home alone.
Oh.
He had a gentleman friend who lived there at the cottage with him.
Oh, Peter.
And we begin to see what may have been one of the issues in Peter and Malika's marriage, depending on what she knew about him.
Right.
Which
wasn't much.
Right. I mean, maybe she knew that he also had an interest in men, but maybe she didn't.
Maybe.
2 years later, though, people realized Malika's gone. Like, not just gone off on another travel adventure. We just haven't heard from her. She's disappeared off the face of the earth.
Oh.
So obviously, Peter is questioned. The property around his cottage was thoroughly searched.
Okay.
They dug up his garden. They searched his house, his car, everything.
Okay.
They found no sign of Malika. And they didn't even find any sign that any crime had taken place at all. There were like no signs of a struggle, no blood, no nothing.
So was Peter's friend questioned, or
I didn't see anything about
Peter's
his friend
staying there, or they were just side piece lovers?
It said that he stayed at the cottage there with him.
Okay.
But I didn't see much. Again, there wasn't a lot of evidence about this. Now, I have some theories I'll get to towards the end about why it was hard to find information on this. But when they did all this searching, there was no evidence to give them any indication of what might have happened to Malika.
Oh, okay.
So 20 years go by.
Oh, my gosh. Okay.
No sign of Malika. She's vanished into thin air. Right. Now, there's a peat bog.
Peat bogs!
900 feet from the home where Peter and Malika lived.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh.
On May 13th, 1983, two men were harvesting peat moss from the bog where they found
a peat body.
What they thought a peat.
I'm full of it.
You're so excited. So excitable.
You're so excitable.
They found what they thought was a ball in the bog.
Okay.
They took it to their supervisor.
They did.
If you all could just see the joy. She's not happy someone died, okay?
Right.
But she is thrilled that this is a bog body.
A bog body.
After the dirt and debris was washed away, they realized this wasn't a ball. It was a human skull.
Stop.
It was in really good shape, only missing the lower jawbone and super well preserved, as we already know.
Right.
The skin, hair, and one eyeball had avoided decay. Like even the word eyeball bothers me.
I know.
I just can't stand eye
My
things.
skin is crawling.
So investigators were like, well, this can't have been in the bog very long because they clearly had not listened to Kara's episode about bog bodies. They didn't
know how well preserved they are going to be.
The skull appeared to belong to a female who was somewhere between 30 and 50 years old at the time of her death. And because of the proximity to Rain Bart's cottage, police immediately thought it might belong to Malika. So they brought him in for questioning again. So this is the story that you alluded to in your episode, where it was like when they first found this, they thought it was his wife. So they told him what they had discovered. And he said, "It's been so long, I thought I would never be found out." So he immediately confesses. According to Peter, Malika had come home sometime in the early 1960s and demanded that he give her money or she would reveal the truth about him, that Peter Rainbart was gay. And at the time, this was considered criminal in England.
Right.
It was a criminal act up until 1967, which just blows my mind.
Just stop it.
I guess I'm privileged enough that I can forget that this was ever considered a criminal act.
Yeah.
It's so horrible. But Peter didn't have any money to give her. And he got so angry that he started shaking her. Something just boiled over inside me, he said. He says he can't remember killing her, but that he knows he's the one responsible for her death. But he also later on says that he strangled her. So I took this to mean, because I had to read a few different articles, and some of them are like, he doesn't remember, and some of them say he strangled her. So I think he knows she was strangled. And knows he had to have been the one that did it, but maybe he's just blocked out like the act of doing it. So,
because that's how your brain functions.
He knows he did it. Because he had to move on.
Horrible thing.
And then when he realized his wife was dead, he knew he had to hide her.
Oh, man.
He took an axe and dismembered his wife's body.
Oh, my gosh.
Which he described as a terrible mess that left him covered in blood. At that point, he tried to burn her remains, which was unsuccessful. And then, again, I had varying accounts of what happened next. Either he took the pieces of her body to the bog and threw them in. But I also saw something that said he'd buried the remains in a drainage ditch, which maybe somehow drained into the bog. So how exactly her remains ended up in the bog is a little questionable for me. So there you go. Malika is dead, murdered by her husband, and now we know the whole story.
Wild.
Except Detective Inspector George Abbott couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't quite right. If Peter had thrown the remains into the bog, why hadn't they found any of the other remains? Why only the head? He sent the skull from the peat bog to Oxford University for further analysis, and scientists at Oxford used carbon dating to determine that, despite its astonishingly well-preserved condition,
it's forever old.
The skull had been in that peat bog for 16 centuries and had absolutely nothing to do with Malika Rainbart.
But he confessed.
Yep. So he's already confessed now. Now he tries to withdraw his confession. He's like, oh, just kidding. Just
didn't mean it.
Gotcha. I'm such a trickster. It was too late. A jury deliberated for 3 hours.
Oh.
And they found 57-year-old Peter Rainbart guilty of murder. And he was sentenced to life in prison.
Oh, my goodness.
The skull initially believed to have belonged to Malika is now known as the Lindau woman.
Mm-hmm.
And several more ancient, well-preserved bog bodies have been found in that Lindau moss bog. Scientists believe that the bog bodies at Lindau were religious sacrifices.
Oh, my gosh.
So Kara already talked about how bog bodies become bog bodies.
And butter.
Ooh, bog butter. They're bog body buddies with the butter in her episode 221.
Yeah.
But just to recap real quick, peat bogs have a unique environment that prevents the decay of soft tissue while harder material like bone disintegrates, which is so strange to me.
Mm-hmm.
This usually results in a misshapen body because the bones decompose, but things like skin and hair remain
leathery,
intact. Yeah. To this day, none of Malika's remains have been found.
That's wild.
I know. It's the strangest story. I just love that he got, it's like a poetic justice, you know, like it wasn't her, but who would have thought?
Gotcha.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like I said, when I was researching this, I had a hard time finding much about it. There weren't a whole lot of details about.
It's so crazy to me that we can't find a ton of stuff.
I know. Especially in a murder trial.
Yeah.
And this is one that went on for so long. But I think the reason why is because of its ties to the bog bodies.
Right.
When you search this story, everything talks about the bog bodies.
Right.
And so
it just
I think it got buried.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was searching as far back as I can, but it was I even tried like excluding bog bodies, but then like you don't find anything. So I think that's why. I don't think it's that people didn't care.
Right.
It was obviously in the news.
Yeah.
But it's just the bog body angle of the story is what everyone focused on.
Yeah.
So I couldn't find a whole lot about the investigation.
Right.
Couldn't find a whole lot about the trial.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. Man, that's wild. Bog bodies.
So I just knew when I was finding pictures of the bog bodies for the YouTube video, I stumbled upon the story and I was like, oh, I could tell that murder story. Yeah. So I love it when we connect things like that.
It's so amazing.
Yeah. So there you go, guys.
Wow, guys.
A little more on the Lindau woman.
That was a good one.
Okay. Thank you all for listening.
Yeah.
We'll be back Friday with another episode.
Yay.
We love you
so much.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.